There's a moment every night right before sleep when the world softens. The noise fades, the air quiets, the heartbeat settles. Most people slip into that moment easily, like easing into warm water. But for me, that moment has been a battlefield for nearly 20 years. And now, lying here with the machines humming around me, nurses checking on me every few hours, and the ceiling slowly turning darker. Every night I realize that the thing I feared the most, sleep, was never the enemy. It was the pills, the little white pills I thought were saving me, the pills I asked for, the pills I begged for, the pills that ruined my life long before I understood what I was doing to myself. I wasn't always like this. I used to sleep like a rock. 8 hours, no interruptions. My wife, Carol, used to joke that I could sleep through a tornado and wake up the next morning asking why the yard furniture was gone. But something changed when I hit my mid-40s. Stress, work, loss, aging, who knows? It started with one sleepless night, then two, then a week. I'd lie there staring at the ceiling, wide awake, mind racing over things that didn't matter in daylight: bills, work, conversations I should have had, conversations I shouldn't have had, things I forgot, things I feared I'd forget, things that didn't exist at all. Carol would roll over and touch my arm gently. "Can't sleep again," she'd whisper. I'd shake my head. She'd tell me to breathe slowly, to calm down, to close my eyes and relax. I tried. God knows I tried. But there's nothing lonelier than lying next to someone who is sleeping peacefully while your own mind paces the room like a desperate animal. After months of this, I went to my doctor. Not because I wanted help, but because I wanted relief. I wanted him to fix me quickly, efficiently, without questions, without digging into the why. I didn't want therapy. I didn't want lifestyle changes. I didn't want lectures about stress. I wanted sleep. He prescribed a small bottle, 30 pills. "Only take these when you really need them," he said. I nodded, but I already knew I would take them every night. The first night I swallowed one, it hit me like a warm wave. My muscles loosened, my thoughts slowed. My eyes closed like they were heavy with peace. I slept 8 hours straight. The next morning the sun looked brighter. Coffee tasted richer. The world seemed manageable. I remember thinking, why didn't I get these sooner? That was the beginning. Pills make you believe they're helping. They whisper promises. They pretend to be your friend. Within months, one pill wasn't enough. My body adjusted too quickly. I needed 2, sometimes 3. The doctor tried to warn me, but I brushed him off. "It's just sleep," I said. "Everyone needs sleep." Carol warned me too. She saw the way I'd slur my words at night, the way I'd stumble on the way to bed, the way my memory started slipping. Not big things at first, but little details that used to come naturally. I forgot where I put my keys, then where I parked, then entire conversations, entire days. She'd take the pill bottle from my hand and say, "Aaron, this isn't normal." I'd snap at her, "I can't function without them." "You don't understand." And maybe she didn't understand the desperation, because unless you've lived with chronic insomnia, you can't know the kind of madness it brings. But what I didn't understand was that she saw something I didn't. The pills were changing me. Over the years, I became dependent, not chemically at first, emotionally. I convinced myself I couldn't sleep without them, couldn't relax without them, couldn't survive without them. That lie grew roots inside me. As I reached my 50s, something darker began to happen. I'd go to bed and lose memories of the night before. Carol would tell me I'd had entire conversations with her, honest, vulnerable, heartbreaking conversations that I couldn't recall a second of. She'd show me text messages I apparently sent, voicemails I apparently left. I sounded confused, slurred, not myself, sometimes mean, sometimes apologetic, sometimes scared. I had no memory of any of it. The pills didn't just put me to sleep, they erased me. One night, Carol came into the bedroom and found me standing in the hallway in the dark, staring at the wall holding an empty glass. My eyes open but unfocused. She called my name. I didn't respond. She touched my shoulder and I dropped the glass. It shattered. The sound woke me up, or rather snapped me into myself. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know how I got there. The look on her face, fear, sadness, helplessness, still haunts me. She begged me to stop. She pleaded, "Please, Aaron. I'm losing you." And I told her I needed them. I told her I'd fall apart without them. I chose the pills over my wife. I didn't realize that's what I was doing. But I did. There's this moment in addiction, because make no mistake, that's what it was when you start lying, not just to others but to yourself. You tell yourself you can handle it. You tell yourself you're in control. You tell yourself you'll quit next week or next month or after this stressful period passes. But the stress never passes. The need never passes. And control was something I lost long before I knew I'd lost it. By the time I hit 60, the damage had already begun. I'd wake up groggy, confused, foggy-headed. My memory was fading faster than it should have. I'd go days barely functioning, barely remembering conversations, barely aware of where the time had gone. Carol would ask if I remembered what we talked about last night. I'd shake my head. She'd sigh, not out of anger, but out of grief. She died before I ever felt the full consequences. A stroke sudden and merciless. The house became too quiet without her, too empty. And nothing amplifies insomnia like loneliness. I went from 2 pills a night to 3, then 4. I didn't care about side effects anymore. I didn't have anyone left to protect, or anyone left to protect me. My daughter visited often, but she didn't know how bad it was. I hid the bottles. I rehearsed coherent sentences before she walked in. I smiled when I felt like crying. I pretended to sleep on my own. But children see more than we think they do. She'd ask Dad, "Why are you so tired all the time?" I'd lie again. Lie after lie after lie until lying became part of who I was. Then came the fall. I was walking to the kitchen in the middle of the night, disoriented, drugged, half asleep, and my foot caught the edge of a rug. I stumbled, fell backward, and hit my head against the corner of the counter. I woke up hours later on the floor in a puddle of blood I couldn't remember spilling. That should have been my wake-up call. But insomnia makes your world desperate. Dependency makes your thoughts illogical. Painkillers for the headaches, stronger sleep meds for the insomnia, daytime pills for the fatigue. It all became a spiral. Memory loss got worse. Fatigue got worse. Blood pressure climbed. The tremors began. My coordination slipped. My doctor tried to intervene, but I lied to him too. I told him I stopped. Told him I only took them occasionally. Told him I had things under control. Then one morning I collapsed while making coffee. My daughter found me on the floor unconscious, the smell of burnt coffee filling the room. She took me to the hospital. Tests showed that my kidneys, my liver, my cardiovascular system, they were all strained, damaged, exhausted from years of drug misuse. Sleeping pills don't always kill quickly. Sometimes they just unspool you slowly, one thread at a time, until you're no longer the person you used to be. The doctors asked me how long I had been taking them. I said, "A few years." They looked at each other, then at my daughter. She looked at me like she didn't recognize me. And maybe she didn't. I barely recognized myself. The truth came out slowly. The dependence, the increasing doses, the side effects, the memory loss, the falls, the nights I wasn't fully conscious, the mornings I couldn't remember, the conversations I lost forever. My daughter cried. Not loud, quiet tears, the kind that break you more than screaming ever could. She asked me, "Why didn't you tell me?" I didn't have an answer. I didn't want her to see me weak. I didn't want her to think I'd lost control. I didn't want her to worry. Worry. That word ruined my life. I cared more about not worrying people than I did about saving myself. The hospital became my second home. Nurses who barely knew me cared for me more tenderly than I cared for myself. They'd wake me every 2 hours to check my vitals. They'd ask questions I couldn't answer because I didn't remember the nights before. They'd adjust the machines that monitored the body I had destroyed one pill at a time. The worst part wasn't the weakness, or the fatigue, or the pain. It was the emptiness inside my mind. Imagine looking at your daughter and not remembering the story she just told you. Imagine waking up and not knowing the day. Imagine losing pieces of your life like pages torn from a book while your hands are tied, unable to stop it. Losing memories is more painful than losing sleep. Losing yourself is unbearable. If someone were listening to me right now, someone out there lying awake every night staring at the ceiling, feeling that horrible mix of frustration and fear, I want you to understand something. Sleeping pills aren't a cure. They're a quiet thief. They take your nights, then your mornings, then your memories, and then your life. If I could go back, I would face the sleepless nights. I would learn to cope, talk to someone, change my habits, change my life. I would do anything but reach for that first pill. Insomnia didn't kill me. The pills did, the denial did, the shame did. Don't be ashamed of struggling. Don't be embarrassed to ask for help. Don't believe that pills fix everything. They don't. Take your sleep seriously, but take your life more seriously. Because the saddest truth is this: I didn't lose years because I couldn't sleep. I lost years because I tried to force myself to sleep the wrong way. And now, all I can do is lie here drifting in and out of awareness, knowing that I traded the last chapter of my life for a handful of pills. If you're in my shoes, if you're tempted, if you're desperate, please hear me. There are worse things than a sleepless night. A life you don't remember is one of them.